Now get ready for Watching Weird, your ultimate destination for mind-bending movie reviews and recommendations. From hidden gems to cult classics, we explore it all. Hosted by storytellers and cinephiles Alan Gamboa, Scott Baker, Rich Restucci, and Hadley Thorne, with a special shout-out to Landis Aldana and Alan Lasseter for their incredible support that help us keep the lights on at Weird. Now grab your Coke, popcorn, and tinfoil hat, and let's get weird.
Evening, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Scott,
How you doing,
good
Alan?
to see you.
Good.
Good. How about you?
I'm good. Hey, school ended yesterday, so I don't have to do a thing until August, late August.
You gonna do some writing, or
Oh yeah.
What are you doing?
I just sent one of the books I've been working on to the formatter. It's a re-release, and then tomorrow I'm gonna just start working on the End of a World Gone Dark 2.
Now, is that book you're sitting? Is that the desert one?
It came from the desert. Yeah, it's just it's an old book from 2014, Yaitzo, that I'm re-releasing with an extra short story and some original artwork that one of my students did for me.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Plus, I figure it came from the desert might get more attention than Yaitzo. So,
yeah, that's a catchier title, and it sounds more like a B movie,
exactly.
50s, 60s B movies, which is, we love those. Hey, Max. Rich can be with us tonight. He's going to try to get on at the end. He set us up tonight, did Scott and I a favor of setting us up. He's got some work stuff, but hopefully near the end of the show, he'll be able to come back on.
Yeah.
So hopefully Rich will be with us tonight.
I'm ashamed he's not going to be here. These were three good movies.
Oh yeah. I've seen all three of them. Hamburger Hill multiple times. In fact, I went to the theater to see that one. I think We Were Soldiers at the theater too. I'm not sure.
I did when it first came out, but I'd not seen the other two until tonight. Until this week. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. And you're grabbing, and you decide to get Hamburger Hill. So sure,
I figured everybody else would fight over We Were Soldiers. So.
Oh, that one. That one's so big. It's such a big story.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It really is. I wanted to say before we delved into it, next week or next month we've got a Comic-Con here in Reno, and I'm not showing or anything because I don't have my banners or anything. I'm going to pump it up this year and get some banners made and, get ready like you have, your stuff that you take with you and merchandise and stuff. But I'm going to check it out because I've never been to a Comic-Con. And what got me, Olivia Diabo is going to be there from.
Why does she sound familiar?
She was in the second Conan movie.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I thought, okay, and then Adam Baldwin, and that's Adam Baldwin's showing up. So Jane from Firefly, Animal Mother from Full Metal Jacket.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I thought, I'm gonna go. So we're gonna.
Yeah.
It's only like. Yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's like $30.
Yeah.
To go.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's not huge, but there's a lot of stuff going on. Hey, Landa, I'll check it out, Scott, and I will see what you see because I've never been to one. I've always wanted to be one.
Yeah, and ask around. Ask the booksellers how they do.
Okay.
That's what I always do. Like I'll check out a convention, and I'll ask how you guys doing in that, and if they say, books don't sell here, I don't try it. But
right,
we'll see. My next one is coming up in where? Oh, Paracon, Connecticut, July 12th to 13th.
Oh, wow. See, that's the weekend this one is, the 12th to 13th.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, yeah, so that'd be neat. I'll see what Scott sees. Hopefully it'll be a good one. So, yeah. Hey, Alan, Landa, Max. Like we were saying, if you missed it, Rich had to work late tonight. He set us up so we could join you lovely people tonight, and hopefully near the end of the show he'll be able to get home and jump back on. At least he says he hopes he will be able to do that. So, do you have anything you want to break into the intro, Scott, or anything?
No, I mean, tonight we're doing 3 war movies based on actual incidents. And, usually I hate these movies because they are so ridiculous, compared to the historical accuracy. But these 3, especially the first 2, Hamburger Hill and We Were Soldiers, are pretty spot on accurate. There's only a few things done for dramatization or things like that. So, you want me to start?
You want to open us up with Hamburger Hill?
Hamburger Hill, I had never seen. I'd heard of it, and I always thought it was like some weird movie. I didn't even think it was war related. And it's based on, hang on. Oh, shoot, I don't have it up. I am not well prepared for this. Hang on.
It's in the Ashall Valley in Hill. What was it?
Yeah, I'm just honestly, with school ending yesterday, I woke up this morning and it was like, what am I doing? What am I going to do today?
The Battle for Hill 937.
Yes. Movies from 1987, directed by John Irvin, contains a pretty good cast. Don Cheadle, who I didn't recognize, Anthony Burrell, Michael Boatman, and it's the story of there was this very tall hill where the Vietnamese were captured, and not captured. They were based entrenched. Thank you. This is what happens when you go to school and work with 6th and 7th graders. And it was a sin. Oh, you guys will take this. And what was supposed to be a one-day battle turned into a week-long battle. And this movie I really liked because the 14 U.S. soldiers of B Company, 3rd Battalion at 187th Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne, a brutal 10-day battle for Hill 937. And it was an absolute nightmare. And it was dubbed Hamburger Hill by the soldiers because it was a slaughterhouse. Everybody was chopped up. I liked this movie. I was very impressed with it. This is now my second favorite Vietnam War movie.
Wow.
No politics at all in this. It was the battle. It was these poor guys having to go up the hill. I mean, that scene where they were like going up the deep slope after the rain and they couldn't get up it because it was so muddy. It's based on the true, Fred. It's based on a true story. So, some of the big names die in this one because that's what happens in combat. It showed the frustration, the horrors of war, what happened to these poor guys. How they went from being, macho soldiers, we're going to do this, like in every war. And at the end of this 10-day battle, I mean, they were just, those that walked away just were traumatized beyond belief. I love this scene near the end when they're coming off the hill and the reporter starts talking to them.
Oh, yeah.
Asking them all these questions, and they just chew the hell out of them. It is a good movie. Again, not political. They're not saying pro. They're not saying con Vietnam. It is a war movie. It is about this particular battle. It was portrayed with very few historical inaccuracies. And there's a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of violence. But you get to see what this and the next one we're going to talk about, to me, are the Vietnamese versions of Saving Private Ryan.
This one, I went and saw at the movies, and it's really highly regarded as far as Vietnam War movies. But had the unlucky slot of coming out between Platoon and Full Metal Jacket.
Mhm.
It just was, so it didn't get the box office that it should have got, but it does have the reviews and it is well loved. I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's the guy that wrote it, Jim Karabatos. He was there. And so, a lot of realism comes through, and he wanted the movie to be as realistic as possible. In fact, Dylan, what's his Dylan McDermott, he's a big time actor who plays Sergeant France, the lead sergeant the sympathetic sergeant of these guys. He lost 25 pounds making this movie, through the mud. This was filmed in the Philippines like Platoon. And Steven Weber from Wings, he did a great job with Sergeant Worcester.
Yes.
You just, don't you people have any Tammy Wynette? I mean, his character was just great. And this is the first movie for Courtney Vance, who played the Doc, Don Cheadle, and Dylan McDermott. This is their first movie. This is the first movie they made. So, and they're all those guys act all over the place now, Don Cheadle, he's in the Marvelverse now, it's Ocean's 11 and Dylan McDermott, he's been in crap load of stuff. But the other guys, most of the other guys you don't really see anymore, the actors, but like 4 or 5 of them are still acting. But this is a great movie. There's a lot of great scenes in this. And the futility of war was really shown. And the brotherhood these guys have. They're all airborne. They're trying to take this stupid hill. They go up, they come down, they go up, they come down, they go up with a certain number of guys that come down with less. They never come down with more or the same number. It's brutal. It's a really brutal movie. My cousin was a radio man with the airborne, and he was at that battle, and he said it was pretty brutal.
So what did he?
But no, this is Scott. I never asked him about it. I never asked him about this movie because he was a teacher and then he was a correctional officer with the same state I was in, and so we talked about that. But I should ask him. He's still around. He's still alive. His name's Ralph Gamboa. I think he got the Bronze Star from his actions there. He might have got a Purple Heart. Anyway, this movie, if you want to, what I assume the war was like, there's no Playboy bunnies or guys skiing down the river. This seems how brutal that war was. And it doesn't get enough mainstream love, but it does have a fan base among people that love these kind of movies. And I'm glad you got to see it. I'm surprised you hadn't seen it since. Hey, Lee.
I always
thought
it was one of those, cheap ass war movies that that really wasn't that good. It was just all the combat and that, because like you said, it came out between those other 2 classics.
Yeah, it did. I think saw it advertised, and my buddies and I, were like, 19, 20 at the time. We're like, hey, that's kind of movie we want to watch, but yeah, it's a good movie. What do you give this one, Scott, or do you have more you want to add to it?
No, I don't. I'm going to give this one. I'm going to give this one a 4.8.
That's good. I was going to give it a 4.5, a solid 4.5. I mean, this is if you like war movies, if you're like Vietnam War movies, this is one if you haven't seen it. And it's a downer, because probably 2/3 or more of the cast don't make it back out of this. And like Scott said, just a lot of the main stars don't make it out. It just that's the way it is.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Hamburger Hill.
Yep, and that's
I recommend. I recommend. I recommend everybody watch this, even if you're not a big war movie fan. It really is one of the very few Vietnam War movies that showed what these guys went through in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I know vets from all 3 wars because my family was surrounded by them. this was the war that screwed up more guys than any other war.
Oh, it did. It
Yeah.
did. My dad came back. He had PTSD. He didn't know it till he was in his 70s. You know, he came home and he was drinking, and my mom said, you know, it's either your family or you drinking, and he chose his family, but he put his PTSD into work. He was a workaholic. Great guy, great, fantastic dad, but his work is where he, you know, worked this out. You know, is the issues that he had. But in fact, I watched this movie with him, and he said this one was pretty realistic. You know, he said Platoon was kind of realistic, but he wasn't. He got out before '69, which is both those movies I think take place around '69, where you know there's a lot more going on. You know, because my dad said there's no when he was there, he didn't see any drug use, but he was in there early too. So,
What?
but yeah, this movie, I love this movie.
When did this battle take place? Yeah, May '69. Yeah, just as things were starting to overflow. I'm just curious what see, this movie bombed. They spent almost 14,000 making it, and it made not thousand, 14 million making it, and opening weekend it only made 3.36 back. And gross worldwide, they just barely broke even.
Well, at least I'm sure they've done better now, you know, with all the rentals and stuff, and you know the love this movie gets, deservedly. You know, it's one of those movies you watch it and you want to take a shower afterwards just to get the mud off you. And the blood.
that scene, like I can't remember who it was. I think Max was saying just when they're crawling up and they can't. They get up 5 feet and go back 7. It was just, I can't imagine doing that. And then these guys, you know, it wasn't like, okay, you fought a good battle, go home. It's like, you got 6 more months, you know, to serve. Go back, you know, have some fun in Saigon, and, you know, we'll send you back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, it's as far as I know, it's very realistic.
Yeah,
and it just and the characters, they built the characters up well, I think, in the short time. You know,
I love
this little platoon of airborne guys. They're brand new. They're out of boot camp or out of a jump school and everything. You know, and they're there.
Yeah,
you know,
I loved Courtney Vance. He was
great
just,
actor.
Yeah, and he was so realistic. You know, it was. If you want to jump into We Were Soldiers, you want me to take this one since I did the first Vietnam movie?
Yeah, why don't you take this one? Take this one because,
This is, without a doubt, my favorite Vietnam War movie. One, because it is extraordinarily accurate. I saw this in the movie theater. But what I loved one of the things I loved about this was they did it from the Vietnamese's point of view. It's the only Vietnam War movie I can think of where you see what's going on in the bunker. You see what the commander is plotting and how he's like, okay, we're gonna circle him around this way, and the reactions to when we'll just wipe these guys out. And what the poor women went through at home.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't know, Scott, that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say I didn't know they.
No, you go.
They didn't. Okay, I didn't know that they didn't notify the family like they did in World War II. I didn't know that they just sent them here's a telegram saying your, loved one is, missing in action or killed. Some poor taxi driver comes up and, that was kind of brutal. I thought
that was, but I think that was showing we're just like really getting involved in this war, and how everything. And one of the underlying themes of that movie, which I think was so great, was how screwed up the upper commands were. They weren't sending it. Even the cab driver, when she chews him out, and he's like, "Ma'am, I don't know what I'm doing here." And, she organizes all the women, and they go from house to house. So the women are the ones telling them, not some cab driver. And I've never read the book. I saw an interview with Colonel Moore once. And, when somebody asked him, when you did that close drop of the napalm, he says, "How did you feel about any of your men being killed?" And he says, "I never saw any of my men killed in that." And they go, "Are you serious?" He says, "I can't have seen any of my men killed in that." So he was a fantastic, and I think he met the Vietnamese guy, Lieutenant Colonel Nguyen Hu An. They met at one point and became friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But this movie is
crazy.
just absolutely brilliant. They're sent in to take this. They're sent to do it. The whole idea is, we can't go in. We can't do what the French did. We can't just go marching through the forest. We'll get killed. So air cavalry. And Mel Gibson, they don't want him in it. But he
right.
They finally push him. He gets in, and they give him the command of the 7th Cavalry. Gee, that's not going to go well, is it? But the cast: Gibson, Greg Kinnear, Sam Elliott. I loved Sam Elliott in that.
Yeah.
Good morning. What are you, a goddamn weatherman? They go into the landing zone. They're dropped off, and the hill that was only supposed to have a couple of hundred had, like, I think 1,500 or 15,000. It was a major command post for the Vietnamese. And the whole thing was, the Vietnamese, they knew if they could take the landing zone, these guys are cut off. And they wind up taking the landing zone. And these guys just, against all odds, create a second landing zone. It is extraordinarily accurate. I looked it up on a website. Very little about this is inaccurate. The battle scenes in this are so intense. That poor, I can't remember what his role was, but the poor black guy that he runs up to and he talks to him, and then a few minutes later he gets hit with the napalm and his entire face.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a fantastic movie. I love this. It's my favorite movie. It is more like Saving Private Ryan than Hamburger Hill, because they go overboard. They show the grossness of this battle. And in this battle, it was hand-to-hand combat. The Vietnamese commander, realized if we can get up close to them, if we can get up to like hugging range, they won't bomb themselves. And at one point, it was just either we're all going to die or we're going to bomb ourselves, and hopefully some of us will live. Brilliant movie. Barry Pepper, I love him in any war movie he's in. And who played the reporter?
That's Barry Pepper.
That is Barry Pepper.
Barry Pepper.
And he's so good in this because, he's a war correspondent. Ooh, this is a battle. And he goes in, like a fresh, like the FNG, as they were calling them throughout the movie. He goes in, and what he witnesses, he fights, he experiences. And then I love that scene when he's leaving and all the fresh young correspondents come in. And you see the difference between, what these media people who have no concept of what it really is, compared to the guy that was sitting there for 2 or 3 days and witnessed it all.
Yeah.
So it is a brilliant movie. I honestly, I can't say enough good stuff about this movie. The actors were incredible. The acting was incredible. The fight scenes were phenomenal. I know a lot of people aren't a Mel Gibson fan right now. This to me is his second best movie. Road Warriors still first. But yeah, definitely watch this.
Well, regardless what you think of Mel Gibson, people think of Mel Gibson. I like him. He's a great actor. He really is. I haven't seen bad acting from him in anything I can remember. And he's a guy like Bruce Willis that could do rage just great. In fact, he's better than Bruce Willis in his rage. But I think he has something he has inside him, because you can just see the torment on his face, and he displays that great in this movie. And what I like about this movie is it shows the hubris of the United States at that time. We're going to come in with this air cav, this new thing we have, and we're going to go in there and free these people. Basically that's what their feeling was. We're going to go in there and we're going to win. Not everybody felt that way. He had his Mel Gibson's character, Hal Moore, had his reservations. I like at the beginning where they show the French at Dien Bien Phu, that little clip they have at the beginning, shows their failure. But this has such a big cast. You got Greg Kinnear, as Snake Crandall, that helicopter pilot, that keeps flying in, and Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott's great in anything. You give that guy a mop and he'd make, the best out of that. He'd be the best janitor you've ever seen in a movie, Chris Klein from American Pie, he's great. His poor doomed character, Barry Pepper. Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy. He was great. I mean, most of these guys die in this. John Hamm's in this. Clark Gregg from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel Universe. Desmond Harrington from what's his name, the serial killer show. I mean, there's just so many actors in this, and they almost all of them die.
Yeah.
And that's what really happened. All these fresh officers, and soldiers, a lot of them didn't know what they were getting into at that time. They learned a lot from this battle, unfortunately. A lot of the negative from this battle, because this I think was the first big battle they had in Vietnam like this.
Well, since the Tet Offensive.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
This is a good movie. It shows three different viewpoints. The soldiers, Vietnamese, and then the wives waiting at home and what they had to go through. And like I said, that part with the telegrams, that was just, wow, I didn't know that. But they weren't prepared for that. Like you were saying, they weren't prepared for that to happen. It's just something they weren't looking at.
And the other
good movie,
thing,
if you have not seen this yet. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
The other thing I loved was when you see the scenes with the commander and the guy in the civilian outfit, who they never say he is, but he's the CIA guy that screwed up the intelligence on this one. And I love the fact that they're like, if we lose everybody, that's one thing, but we can't lose Hal Moore. And Moore refused to retreat. He told them, I'm staying here with them. So
I'm the first one down, the last one out.
Yeah. And it's everything that happens is true. Greg Kinnear, all the stuff he did, Crandall did all that stuff. This is not made for Hollywood. This is just a accurate portrayal. There's only a few things that may have been dramatized or like condensed, but this movie, no, Tet was 1968, I thought.
Yeah, this was before. This was their first major battle before. This was the one that opened their eyes to what they were against.
65. I am sorry. I was thinking Hamburger Hill, 69.
Yeah, no, this is the one that, because they still had the white tape right here with their names on it, and the OD green.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes more sense to me now. Yeah, because this is when they had no clue what they were doing. Again, I think it's the best Vietnam War flick. It's my favorite, and I give this one a solid 5.
I give this one a 4.5. I like it. It's good. I recommend it definitely, and it's got such a great cast, you know. And if you're a fan of Sam Elliott and Mel Gibson, it's one of their best movies.
Yeah.
One of their best movies. So check it out. But watch Hamburger Hill first.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, give that movie some love.
Yeah.
This one is modern day. Okay. This is 12 Strong, and it takes place right after 9/11. It's the first Green Berets to engage the Taliban several months after the towers were destroyed. I saw this movie and I really was like, it's okay. I rewatched it and I really liked it. It's got a lot of great battle scenes in it. You like the characters. It's got a great cast in this. Uh, you got Chris, got Thor, the God of Thunder playing Captain Mitch Nelson. This is a true story. Mitch Nelson's a real guy. All these characters are real guys. Michael Pena, if you're a Michael Pena fan, he's in this. He's got a pretty good role in it. Um, uh, just the fight scenes are pretty realistic, and I like when there's an explosion. They don't just walk. I mean, there's a scene where they kind of walk away from an explosion, but it's way out there. It's done. This is not Michael Bay, but shit, that other guy. He does a lot of action flicks. Oh gosh, he's produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, so that the action in it's gonna be top notch. Bruckheimer loves his action. But this is about the Green Berets. They go in to help the northern Afghan army fight the Taliban, and they end up on horseback. So they actually have a couple of cavalry charges in this movie. It's pretty neat. Like I said, the cast is Chris Hemsworth, Michael Shannon, who plays the warrant officer Spencer in this. Throughout the whole movie, he looks like he ate something bad. That's the one thing. I don't think his acting was that great in this one. He looked like he ate something disagreed with him throughout the whole movie. I mean, I know he gets injured at one point with his back from riding the horse, but it's just I don't know. I didn't care for his acting, but this one's got a weird tie-in with the guy that makes Yellowstone. I can't think of his name right now. Taylor Sheridan. It's got a weird tie-in because he's in this. He plays the CIA officer that they meet when they first get to the Afghanis headquarters there, or one of the places. He's the CIA agent that's getting ready to leave, that going off somewhere else with a big duffel bag full of money. But it's got a couple of guys that are in this series from Lioness. It's got the blonde-haired guy, Thad Luckenbill, long blonde-haired guy that's the CIA agent in Lioness. He's in this, and then there's a couple of other actors. So it's a weird Taylor Sheridan tie-in in this. I don't know. I'm going down a rabbit hole, but this is a true story. These guys did make a big effort to destroy the Taliban at that time. And it's kind of sad because when you're watching this, you know what happens afterwards. You know that this war continued on, and we leave. And you see these guys' efforts are just, they think they're doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing. And then they leave. They go home. They do their assignment. They go home. But we know the history of this war now. This movie was made in 2018, I believe. So we know what happens. And so when you're watching it, you're kind of like, I don't want to say what a waste, because these guys' efforts are just superheroes, they put their lives on the line. And then at the end, we just up and left. Yeah. And so it kind of taints the movie as you're watching it, not towards them and stuff, but these guys are fighting, shedding blood, doing the right thing. They were doing the right thing at that time. But, what happened? It's just kind of sad. It's a good movie to see, though. A lot of good action. The acting is good in it, except for Michael Shannon kind of, I didn't care for his acting in this. What do you think, Scott?
To what you said just now, yeah, unfortunately, the men and women who went in, and I know a lot, this I never heard about until I watched the movie, but a lot of the men and women who went in did things, put their lives online doing stuff that you would think was absolutely insane. And we did drive the Taliban out. We did free Afghanistan. We succeeded. It was, I don't want us to say later administrations, because the administration that got them out started to screw it up. But afterwards, it was just, the war was fought brilliantly. The occupation was messed up beyond belief, and they did the same thing in Iraq, and they did the same thing in other countries. I like this movie. I really did. I thought it was I really enjoyed it. But once they started to get to some of the last battle scene was like, no. There is no way that 12 guys and a bunch of Afghanis on horses are going to charge tanks and armored cars and rocket launchers. And I did some research on it, and it says 12 Strong is an entertaining action movie based on the true story, but not completely accurate historical account. The film is a Hollywood interpretation of events, and while it captures the essence of the mission, it takes creative liberties for dramatic effect. So, because this was something that I lived through when I worked there, I went on and bought the book. It's coming in a couple of days. I want to read exactly what happened, what these guys did. I mean, I know when they went in, they were cut off. This was just, and part of it was, I remember, because right after 9/11, Bush sat down and said to Rumsfeld, how long is it going to take you to get the troops ready to go in? And Rumsfeld said probably 3 to 6 months. And without hesitation, the CIA director says, I can have a group in there within a month. And Bush turned to him and said, you're doing it. And that pissed off Rumsfeld so bad, which is one of the reasons why he got this special group to go in as well. I just want to know the truth about it. I'm not denigrating the guys who did this. I mean, anybody who went into Afghanistan, right after 9/11, those things are so full of metal they could rust if you're not careful with them. I just want to know the truth behind it.
Right.
So, but then that's me. I'm a historian. But the movie itself.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Scott. Go ahead. We're driving Max crazy.
Itself is great. It's a fun action flick. I don't know how accurate the fight scene at the end is. I'm sure most of the other battle scenes. I love the way they portrayed the Afghani soldiers. I think that, not that I know a lot about it, I think that was very true. But I loved the way they portrayed Dostum.
Yeah.
That was just, because that woman was teaching young girls how to read and write, he shot her in the head, because that's not the way it should be. And, this is what a lot of people do not understand. We're not fighting, when we're doing this, we're not fighting Middle Eastern people. It's like when we were fighting Nazi Germany, we weren't fighting Germans. We were fighting Nazi fascism. These guys sometimes make the fascists of World War II seem like nice guys. I mean, I've seen the video. We used to watch the videos of what went on in Afghanistan before we invaded. And even after, when it started falling apart. There was one video of this woman was dragged out of a building, beaten to death. Her clothes were torn off. She was urinated on. She was, spit on. They dropped her into the street, and then a whole line of cars ran over the corpse. You know what her crime was? She was in the library reading a book.
No, it's, I don't, and how do you fight that? Because that is just a special kind of.
You don't. That's the thing.
Yeah. They believe it, they believe that, how can you off your child or your loved one because they're getting an education or they walked home with a guy or something like that, it's crazy. It's crazy. But this movie, yeah, I'm glad they showed that part, where you got to see it and you're like, okay, this guy needs to be taken out, definitely. And that stuff's true, like you said. And David Navid Negabon, I know I killed his name. He played Dostrom. That guy's, you see him in a lot of stuff. He always plays Middle Eastern characters, but he's in a lot of stuff. Dostrom and Chris Hemsworth character, Captain Mitch Nelson, they in real life they remain friends after all this happened.
Wait, Dostrom?
I don't know if Dostrom's. Yeah,
Dostrom was the bad guy.
No, Dostrom was the guy that they hooked up with. Was the good guy. It was.
Then maybe I got it wrong.
Boom! It was. I'm looking.
Because I loved his character, the guy he was.
Yeah, Raza.
Right,
Raza was the bad guy. Yeah. And both those actors were in the live action Aladdin movie. Just a little bit of trivia there. Playing guys that were at odds, like they were at odds in this movie. But do you know who Rob Riggle is, Scott?
I've heard of
He's
him,
a comedic actor. He's a comedic actor. He played I'm looking him up right now. He played Lieutenant Colonel Bowers, the one that wasn't going to let him join the team at the beginning, and then he ends up letting him join.
I love the.
He was actually. Yeah, he looked weird. William Fichtner with his shaved head. I think he was actually. That's probably how that guy looks, because that was a real guy, Colonel Mulholland.
Yeah.
But so he probably had a shaved head, but that was distracting. His shaved head. He looked odd with a shaved head. Didn't you find it distracting?
Well, it was like distracting because I was like, I know him. I know that actor. Yeah. And then it was like, it took me like 5 minutes to figure it out when I saw like the facial expressions. It's like, that's right. Fichtner, who I love.
Right.
Fichtner is a brilliant character actor.
Oh, well, he was in Black Hawk Down, right? He was one of the Delta guys.
Maybe.
And yeah, William Fichtner, yeah, he was one of the Delta guys. And the character he played in this, Mulholland, was over there in Somalia during Black Hawk Down. It's kind of funny. So he played an actual guy and Rob Riggle is a Marine. I think he's a major. I think he retired as a major, maybe a lieutenant colonel. But Rob Riggle, the guy, so he was actually a Marine, and he dealt with some of the stuff. But there's a lot of guys in this that you'll recognize. Just look at. I know where that guy was in that movie, but the charge scenes and stuff. I mean, come on, they're firing these AKs and rockets and stuff, and they're not hitting these horses and the riders and but it's exciting. But like you said, it's exciting. They sell tickets, to see this movie, and
that's why I
enjoyed this. Yeah, no. In fact, I think in the book they deal with that prison camp too in Afghanistan. That they had that big breakout. It was really big battles. I forgot what the name of the prison camp was, but I think that's included in the book too. I hear the book's really good. I think it's called Horse Soldiers or something like that. But
Horse Soldiers, the 12 Strong or something. But I ordered it last night. I finished watching this last night, went to Amazon and ordered it. Because I learned my lesson. I loved the movie The Battle of the Bulge. wow, this is so great. Let me go buy the book and see, And it's like, okay, let's see. The book had Stone, and so did the movie. I was so disappointed at that movie. I can't watch it anymore.
How old were you when you saw Battle of the Bulge?
When I first saw it, I was probably like about 14. And then then it was like, oh my God, but I was sitting there saying to myself, well, wait a minute, this looks like they're fighting in a desert.
Yeah, right.
And then like a friend and I went to see where the Battle of the Bulge took place, and it was like there's no open fields. It's all like 2-lane highways with mounds of dirt going up the trees. So
Hollywood, man. It's like We Were Soldiers. Looks like it was filmed in same place they filmed Green Berets. Just about. It didn't really have that.
They did good on that one, yeah. See, I like the Green Berets. I like the Green Berets, but the Green Berets has a distinct political tone to it.
Oh yeah. Whereas it's like we're going to go in there and save the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the movies turn to, the Americans are the bad guys. And that's what I loved about these two. Hamburger Hill, We Were Soldiers. No politics, nothing. It was this side fighting this side for what they both believed was right, especially in We Were Soldiers.
Yeah.
What's it about it, Lee?
I think it's SEALs fighting. Real story, too. I think it's a real story fighting in the Middle East. It's supposed to be really good. I haven't seen it yet. It's a newer flick. Have you seen A Midnight Clear, Scott? I have not.
No, I have not. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, Tony was saying it's one of his favorites.
I
need to check that out.
No, I did see the one 13 Hours, which was, from what I know, was fairly accurate.
That was a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think,
that one's pretty good.
My opinion, not that I know, I still think that there was something going on with the CIA, that they were like running an operation, or they were like transporting something through the city, which is why the chief of station refused to let these guys go. I don't think it was just stupidity on his part. I think it was like, no, because if you discover this, then you blow their cover.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a whole different take on that.
Yeah.
It's a good movie then to watch. Hey, Craig, have you ever seen that movie, Castle Keep, with Burt Lancaster and Peter Falk? It's a weird ass movie. It's where they're in this castle in Europe, the group of soldiers, and they're holding it from the Germans, and it's just a weird ass movie.
I saw it like when I was about like 12 years old. I remember Peter Falk in it. I remember the castle. I don't remember anything else.
Yeah, Burt Lancaster has an eye patch in it. And
now, talking about castle movies, my favorite World War II espionage movie, Where Eagles Dare.
Oh, that's a great flick.
I love that.
Eastwood.
Yeah, and every time you think you know what's going on, they twist the plot again.
Now, is that an Alistair MacLean book?
Alistair MacLean, yeah.
Yeah, I love his books because they always have a twist and I love those books. Who was in that one besides Clint Eastwood? Was it Harris or was it
Burt Reynolds? Not Burt Reynolds. The guy who was always married to Elizabeth, Richard Burton.
Richard Burton. Okay.
Richard Burton, and then most of the others were fairly big names back then, but
yeah, they had so many movies, like that one with George Peppard, Operation Crossbow.
Yeah,
all kinds about the heavy water. Them going to make a nuke or atomic bomb, and they got to get in there and stop Hitler from doing that. Yeah, love those movies as a kid, man. They had, you didn't look at war like you see it nowadays as a kid, you look at it as just
No.
playing. Yeah.
Like somebody would get shot and they'd like, oh, and spin around and fall down. And that's why I think Saving Private Ryan broke all of that. Now you could portray war the way it really was.
Oh yeah. No, that whole landing scene on the beach. Oh my gosh.
Minute we saw it at the theater, and the minute the ramp came down, and you could, with the speakers, you could hear the ricochets all around you. That got me hooked. That was that was fantastic.
As soon as they dropped that door on that landing craft, man, and and you're like, oh my gosh.
I have one flaw with the movie. One flaw. Hey, Rich.
Hey, Rich. Yes.
You're still on.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
My one flaw with the movie is I knew from the very beginning Private Ryan lived. Because the old guy was wearing the 1st Airborne pin. So it was like, okay, well, you just told us that you saved him.
Well, it is called Saving Private Ryan.
Shaving Ryan's privates.
Right?
Well, Rich,
the X-rated version.
We just went off on a tangent on war movies.
Okay.
But you got anything to offer for these movies tonight?
12 Strong. I'll give that a 4. I liked it. I liked the way it was done. Direction was fantastic. Excellent cinematography. We Were Soldiers has some of the best cinematography in any war movie ever. It was just phenomenal, and it was just like you're just looking in that little area where they were, that little riverbank type of area, and then when they went, it was fantastic. That I'm going to give a 5. I absolutely love that movie. Fantastic movie. Everything about that movie is great. Just terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And Hamburger Hill, decent flick. I'll give that a 3.8. I'm not going to give that a 4. But I liked the acting. I liked the action. Cinematography was okay, but it can't compare to the other 2 movies. No. That's where I was. What did you guys rate them?
I gave 4.8 to Hamburger Hill, 5 to We Were So. We never rated 12 Strong.
Oh, we didn't. What do you rate it?
I'm giving it a 4 because I don't trust the historical inaccuracies. I don't like that.
Hamburger Hill 4.5. We Were Soldiers. I'm going to give a 4.5. Looking at it, and 12 Strong. I'm going to give like a 3. It's a good movie. I'll probably watch it again. But yeah, I think it's of the 3. I think it's the weakest as far as engaging me.
75 comments. I'm looking at.
Oh,
And I'm the late Rich
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, Lee. I don't know what Spy Game by Brad Pitt is. So I've never heard of that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Did not like
It's Robert Redford.
Oh,
That's a decent movie. Spy Game.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll have
Redford
to look it
and
up.
Pitt, I believe.
Hmm.
Hey, don't let Craig give you a bad time. He just got here himself too, Rich.
Oh,
Sorry, I was late,
I think I
everybody.
know
I'm
what
squealing
that.
on him.
I think I know what that movie is now. I remember seeing it a while ago. I'd have to watch it again to give my opinion. It was a very not bizarre. It was a very unusual movie to follow, but I think it was meant that way because it was agency personnel.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Tony. Tony I is here in the house.
Woo, woo.
Everybody's
Tony.
fashionably late today.
Hey, everyone. Tony, I just got here too. Yeah, we can do a 2-hour show.
Any more on these movies, Rich, since you're here and we got you?
No, I think We Were Soldiers is one of the best war movies going right now. It's just so well done. Honestly, that's it. That's what I got. I think it's Mel Gibson. It's one of his best. Just the way he put his entire soul into that character was just fantastic. And the napalm falling when they picked up the kid, that was just some of the most brutal shit that I've ever seen. It was just and I watched that movie the first time with my wife, and she had known someone. Her uncle was a firefighter, and he had told her a story where that had happened when they pick up the guy by the ankles. You guys know what happened.
Yeah.
And his skin comes right up. She said that happened to someone that he went to pick up the ankles, and she said, "I know what this is gonna be. Oh my god!" And she called it. She's like, "This is what's gonna happen," and it did. And so that just kind of sticks with me because it's just vicious. But that's war, and it was the special effects, the bullet wounds and Sam Elliott. Come on, Sam Elliott's just fantastic. But yeah, great flick. Absolutely loved it. 12 Strong, very good. I liked it. It was done well. Everybody seems to like Chris Hemsworth in these war action movies. I think he's better suited to more comedic role, like in the Marvel movies he's in. And Hamburger Hill, older movie. What is that? 15 years old, maybe. Remember what year it came out?
87, I think.
What's that?
Yeah, 87.
87. So
yeah,
it's very old then. What was it? 97, 07, 17. It's almost 40 years old. Holy crap. Yeah, it's good. It's a good flick. A lot to see there. I really don't know what else to say about Hamburger Hill. I hadn't seen it in a long time. I watched it just the other day, and I hadn't seen it in forever. And there was some stuff that stuck out, some things that I enjoyed in the movie. It was just, it showed a lot of tactics that I hadn't seen prior to seeing that movie, back in 1987. Apparently, I thought it was like 15 years ago, but Jesus, it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was just after I got out of high school. So,
now you feel old, don't you, Rich?
I always feel old. God, it takes me 20 minutes to get up the stairs. Yeah, I don't have too much light to shed on those. Sorry.
You know what I liked in Hamburger Hill was Steven Weber's portrayal of Worcester. I really enjoyed his character. I just, it's his accent was a little wonky, but it was I don't know, I just like that character, in his attitude. And when he gets wasted at the end, you're just like, oh man, and Dylan McDermott, how everything was falling on him, every time his guys got killed or wounded, he just saw it on his face, he's just, and the alphabet character. I like the alphabet character. I thought that was good. Linguilli or whatever. But yeah, I guess I like that movie a little better than you did. But like we were talking, it got sandwiched between Platoon and Full Metal Jacket when it came out.
Yeah.
So
two great movies.
And one of the things I was saying to Alan was what I loved most about We Were Soldiers. It's the only Vietnam War movie that showed the battle from the Vietnamese side.
Yeah.
They weren't just enemy soldiers to gun down. You got to see them. You got to see what they were fighting for, how they were planning the tactics. That was what hooked me into the movie.
Yeah, that was a good.
I'm glad you picked this one because my suggestion was Siege of Firebase Gloria, which it's a cheesy movie, but I love it. Arlie Ermey's got he's the star. Him and Wings Hauser are the two leads of that, So, but that movie's really cheesy, but it's a lot of fun to watch, I think. Especially getting to see Arlie Ermey have a big role, in that. So I'm glad you picked this one. Was it you, Scott, that said, how about we do this one? We Were Soldiers?
It might have been me, yeah. Thin Red Line, Max, is that the one that takes place, I think, like on Okinawa?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hated that movie so much.
It sucked.
That-
Such a
that
great
movie-
cast.
The only
Such a-
scene they kept on switching POV. The only
Yeah.
scene that I really liked was the one with Cusack when the Japanese are coming out of the cave one by one, and him and a couple of guys are stuck there defending himself. Other than that, and John Travolta, I have never seen a movie where I wish John Travolta had never been in it. This one was it.
I love the scene where Woody Harrelson blows himself up with a grenade.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh,
I
what?
don't remember that.
But that movie was just so weird. You know, they needed somebody like Gibson to make that movie. You know, where it was linear, not, you know, all that crap. I mean, you had Jim Caviezel, Adrian Brody. I mean, you had
Wasn't Sean Penn in that?
Cusack, Sean Penn. Yeah,
Sean Penn,
I mean,
yeah.
you had a big
They had
cast.
some great
Wasted.
actors, but the director just had no clue what he was doing.
Nick Nolte.
Well, I
George
forgot who the
Clooney.
direct George Clooney. I
Yeah.
forgot who the director was, but he's like a Woody Allen, where all these actors want to work for this guy, and most of the actors did it for scale to work for this guy, you know, and it came out not good.
No, it sucked.
I know I saw
Disappointing.
Thin Red Line, but I don't remember it. It's been. I think I don't remember because it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, Cusack in a war movie, yeah, cool. Sucked. Sucked.
And Ash is understated.
Man. Yeah. Yep. No. Disappointment. Big disappointment. These movies you can't lose. These 3 movies,
No.
have a movie-thon. You're doing great.
Lee,
You're in a good place.
only thing I liked in Battlefield Earth, his character. That's the only reason I continued watching it. Is I love Fred. I love Travolta. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have watched any of it.
Hey, that had
I
Barry
couldn't-
Pepper in it too.
I couldn't wait for that movie to come out. I was itching because I had read the book. You know, I was itching to see that movie, and I went there, and I left that movie saying, "What the hell? How could they have done that to this film, to this book?" And it just sucked. But I also,
think
the
it's
first time I saw Starship Troopers, I didn't like it. I was like, they butchered it. It's nothing like the book, blah blah. And then, like, I saw it again later, and I was like, you know what? This is actually a good flick. If you take the book away,
Yeah,
just you know, the movie itself, it was great.
I felt that same way. With the preview was great. The trailer for it was great. They had that Blur song playing and all the explosion, everything. I thought, oh, this is gonna be great. And then I went and saw it at the movies, and I'd read the book. You know, there's no suits, there's no, you know. But then, you know, it's a cult. I like it. It's a cult classic. You know, it's RoboCop versus aliens. You know, basically. You know, it's that's one of those movies you gotta watch. Belinda, I think that's her favorite movie is Battlefield Earth. I think she said she loves that movie.
She did. She absolutely said that.
We're over an hour long because Fred is like ripping things apart.
All right, we're at an hour and 3.
Do
Are
we
you guys good?
Do we know what we're doing next week?
I don't know
I
what
never
we're doing
know
next
what
week.
next week. I have no idea.
We'll have to find out. We'll have to figure it out.
Come on, everybody.
By Alan
What
Fred.
did you do to Landa tonight, Alan?
I just said her favorite movie was Battlefield Earth.
Oh,
I thought, well, didn't she like that movie? Wasn't it?
Alan, how's it gonna
Was she
bite
one of
Alan?
Let me see. Let me look and see what we have planned. Let me see what we have planned real quick. Bam. Workplace comedies and personal chaos is what's on the list. Do you want to hear what we
Yes.
should be scheduled?
Yeah.
Liar, Liar, Office Space, and Horrible Bosses.
What was the last one?
Horrible
Horrible
boss.
Bosses,
Okay.
the first one.
Yes.
Do you guys want to go with that?
And I loved
Do whatever.
Oh God, she was from Friends. I can't think of her name. The
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston. I am
Yeah. So, okay, next week, Liar, Liar, Office Space, and Horrible Bosses.
Yes. I'm
I think that's a
apologizing.
Heather thing.
All right.
All right.
Was that a 2-page here, Craig? You said, was that a 2-page?
No, that was him ripping apart his doggy bed. So,
Oh, and he wants it back.
oh yeah, that's the God thing. You know, he's gonna like lay on it and look at me like, why is it so flat?
All right,
Just
boys.
open that peanut butter jar right there in your chair and give him some peanut butter.
Oh, I could. That would shut him up for a minute. All right, everybody, take it easy.
Take it easy.
There's the finger.
Stay
We'll see
weird.
you guys next week. Sorry I was late.
See you next week. Hey, we're glad you're here.
All right, Weirdlings, that's all for watching Weird this week. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, the strange and unusual never sleeps. Well, except for maybe on Thursdays. Speaking of sleep schedules, here's a quick reminder about our other shows. Dive into the mysteries of the mind with Weird Awakenings every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cozy up with blondes, books, and campfire tales for spooky stories every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hone your craft and connect with fellow writers on Write With Me on the third Sunday of each month. And don't forget, Watching Weird now airs live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all things weird, find us on social media via Linktree in the description below, or visit our website at weirdrealities.net. Stay weird.